Hi. History concerns itself with the large things in life. It often omits the minor details, both because the details are infinite in number and insignificant to the big picture. I'm making this video to give some details of a battle that occurred long ago and far away. To the best of my knowledge, these details are not mentioned anywhere else in the historic record. In the late spring or early summer of 1967, during the Vietnam War, the enemy built a forward radar installation in order to give them advanced warning of airstrikes bound for Hanoi. As the installation was close enough to the coast to be within the range of naval guns, it was decided that the Navy would send ships north to take care of business. The task group consisted of the cruiser USS Boston, CAG-1, and 2 destroyers. At the time, I was aboard one of the destroyers, USS Samuel N. Moore, DD-747. I do not know the name of the other destroyer. The plan was simple. The destroyers would go in first to fire suppression fire. That is to say, we would engage the enemy defensive batteries and hopefully silence them. This would give the Boston the ability to take on the primary target without the distraction of having to face incoming enemy fire. Virtually nothing went as planned. Ironically, neither the Navy Task Force nor the enemy defenders won the battle. Instead, victory went to a phantom that took us both by surprise. It began with the destroyers naively heading for the shore. I say naively because at that point we had no inkling of how heavily defended this installation was. As we approached the beach, the destroyers came under a virtual hailstorm of enemy fire. Artillery shells landed all around the ships. Now I was in the engine room and didn't see it, but the men on the bridge said there were so many shell splashes in the water that it looked as if we were steaming through a water forest. Clearly outgunned, there was nothing to do but for us to make a run for it. And run we did, weaving and dodging, speeding up, slowing down, the boilermen making smoke, the gunners firing the guns as fast as they could load them. Anything to set the enemy's aim off of us. For about 15 minutes, we ran as best we could. A very stressful 15 minutes, until the enemy shell splashes consistently fell astern. At that time, those of us not on watch were allowed to go topside. It is the only time I ever witnessed a battle from a safe distance. The Boston was a missile cruiser. However, she still had 2 triple gun turrets forward, 8-inch guns, not the little pipsqueak 5-inch guns we had in a destroyer. The Boston lined up on the beach and began to fire. We could see titanic explosions erupting ashore. We could see humongous shell splashes in the ocean all around the Boston. But it was a running stalemate. The Boston couldn't knock out the enemy defensive batteries, and the Vietnamese couldn't drive the Boston away. Now, I do know that the Boston was hit during the Vietnam War. I know this because I knew a Boston sailor who received a Purple Heart because of it. However, I do not know if it was this particular battle. The stalemate was really getting kind of boring. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, boom, 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 no effect. Right about that time, a buddy grabbed me by the arm and whirled me around and said, "Look, look!" There on the horizon, far out to sea, I saw a tiny glint of sunlight. If it had not been in motion, I wouldn't even be able to see it. Using binoculars, we were able to determine that it was a lone F-4 Phantom fighter jet. He was skimming the wave tops, making, I estimate, 0.9 Mach. He was going in. We followed him as he crossed the shoreline. Shortly thereafter, we saw a bright flash. The flash kind of dissolved into this roiling, boiling, rolling cloud of yellow and orange with black smoke. Napalm. Mission accomplished. We followed the fighter as he turned back and headed out to sea. He came straight at us like a rifle bullet, still at wavetop level. Just as he reached the ship, the pilot nosed the jet straight up vertical and ignited the afterburners. Whoosh! The thunder of the jets actually shook the ship and rattled the teeth in our heads. The backwash blew off our caps. The effect was biblical. The Phantom rose on twin pillars of flame, higher, faster, with every racing heartbeat. He went so high that he went clean out of sight. He went so high that we couldn't hear him anymore. For all I know, he's still going up. Although, I reckon by now, after all these years, the Phantom must be approaching the rim of the galaxy. Thank you for watching The Day of the Phantom. Bye-bye.